We're good? Okay. Let's call to order the meeting of the Administration and Legal Affairs Committee, Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. Yeah. 2.0 prayer. Anybody? Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for an opportunity to serve the people of this county. We just ask you to help us make wise decisions as we go over a few issues here tonight. Lord, we just thank you for a beautiful day, and we just ask for some rain for the crops, that you would help them come to a very good harvest this year. We just thank you for everything that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So 3.0 approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
Second. In a second. Okay. Discussion, but all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey, there we go. Their voices. All right. 4.0 approval of meeting minutes from April 8th and May 8th, 2024 meetings. I'll make a motion to approve. Second. Any discussion on any of those, either one of those? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Approval of claims 5.0. We have cash requirements of $40,343.59 and manuals of $37,835.28 for a total of $78,178.87.
I so move.
Okay. Second. Any discussion on any of those? Okay. All those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Moved. 6.0 public comment. Seeing no one else here, we will move on to 7.0 and 7.1 county treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I passed out a copy of what I'm about to go into a little bit more detail with right now. So you all should have gotten the website link to the May month report Sunday early evening. One of the things noticed, on the page that I said, hey, this is going to be the page, it changes a lot, hardly changed last month. So that's the part of the yellow end. Only one of the investment vehicles matured in May. So there'll be quite a bit more happening in June. Interest, of course, continues to accrue on all those investments. You'll see it in June, quite a bit of activity there in yellow. Total fund status, if you looked, was down across funds 149, 1.454 million, which sounds like a lot again, but it's only 5.18% of our total holdings when you account for the investment. So completely normal, actually a little below what we're normally seeing at this. So again, good shape. Did want to let you know on the cover page, if you watch that cover page, which lists the sales taxes and the income taxes, sales taxes were down by about 30,000 last month, but a very large and expected increase in income tax. The state pays income tax the month after they collect it, unlike a 4-month cycle for sales taxes. So, April 15th was the day. So our May payment is statistically and would be expected larger, but a 72% increase over the month prior. So happy about that. And we'll see another, a little bit bigger payment like that again in October. Let's see, other income tax news. Department of Revenue reported there were a high number of amended business tax returns in the year 2022, which matters to us because that trickles down to our personal property replacement tax distributions that we get 8 times a year. Because of a very large number of those amended returns, the state will now be adjusting what we get in fiscal 25. Statewide, it's a drop of $200 million. So we won't know what that looks like for us until August when the new PPRT estimates come out. So I've already shared the good news with the finance director. It's a little more pertinent than some others because those payments cross 2 budget years. So it's a little tricky to know how you're going to deal with that. So next, there may be a tiny bit of relief actually related to that somewhat. Recently passed legislation included a cap on what retailers, when they submit their sales tax, if they submit it timely and the reports are right, et cetera, they get a 1.75% discount. And for a big retailer like Walmart, that could be significant. Well, now the state will be capping that at $1,000 a month. So that's expected to bring in about $85 million back to kind of sort of plug that $200 million hole. So it's not a full offset, but hopefully the news won't be as bad as we thought it would be. So kind of a mixed message there. Any questions about the financial information so far before I move to the property tax news?
I just hit one on the sales tax payments.
Sure.
Is that the first month it's gone down or is it?
No, it fluctuates.
Fluctuates.
Sales tax is usually because, so a dollar spent, we had an example today in a webinar that Jasmine and I were in. So if you went January 16th and purchased something and you paid sales tax on it, we don't see that until 4 months later. So like all the Christmas spending, we got April, May. So it's just hard to, and income tax again is the month after, but sales tax is a 4-month cycle. So and that is solely dependent on spending.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's a seasonal aspect to that. So moving to property tax information, I just want to update you. Last month's target was that bills would be in the mail by the end of May and a mid-July 1st installment due date. So we hit those targets. We mailed the bills May 29th directly from our printer, and our first due date, as you homeowners are no doubt aware, is July 19th. And surprisingly, I ran a collections comparison this year to last year. We're almost exactly the same. $6.6 million collected as of yesterday, $6.6 million last year at the same amount of collection days. So people are creatures of habit, it seems.
And I'm sorry, what's the last day of that payment due?
The very, very, very last day?
Yeah.
Before you get published in the newspaper?
To get the
There are a
lowest,
series of
to
dates.
pay the lowest amount of money, I have to pay by when?
So the first installment is July 19th.
July 9th.
Second is September 13th.
Okay.
Both
I
Fridays.
kept thinking June 19th. I'm like, that's
Well,
not
because the
okay.
days are always going to be different year to year. And last year we didn't have June due date, so they'll always change.
Thank you.
One thing we have noticed, and this seems to be increasing year over year, is a lot of people, the vast majority are just paying both installments, get it done, get it out of the way if they're able to. So it's one less thing to forget, which helps us immensely, as you can imagine. And a lot of them say that it helps them too. Nobody wants to forget that and get those notices and reminders and publishing. So that's really good. I did want to let you know that our new electronic payment provider service is going really, really well. So at this point last year, we had maybe 100,000 in payments. As of yesterday, I had 600,000. So big jump there. And most people are embracing the e-checks. So of that 600,000, 490 was by e-check. So that's a little bitty fee. I know Mr. Frick was concerned about those other fees. So very few people actually are using the credit debit card option. They're going to go with the e-check because it's so convenient and so much less expensive. And tax distributions, the first distribution date will be July 10th to all the districts. So this money paid back in will be headed back out July 10th, and then every 30 days thereafter through the tax sale date. That is all I have. If you have any questions. Thank you.
We are good. Thank you. All right, let's move on to 7.2 County Clerk.
Thank you. All of the images that for our digitization project, those have been scanned in, and the next step is process that will take years for us, but the indexing portion of it. So that has begun. Been a little quiet in the office, so we are trying to be as proactive for November that we can be in preparing. One of the big things is election judges. We're going to be hosting the election judge certification class August 6th. That's going to take place at Highland, and we'll have an afternoon class and an evening class. But we are trying to get as many election judges on board for November. I know it's a ways away, but after November, there's a handful of election judges that are finally stepping down from serving. I know they know November's a big election, but after November, they're finally retiring from being an election judge. So the push and the push and the recruitment for election judges is kind of at the forefront of trying to see if we can get some more. Any questions?
I've just heard from a couple of election judges that that date might be problematic. Do you have a backup plan in mind? I know it's hard to do until you know how many are going to be there, but
Yeah, so on the survey that we have given to them, we gave the 2 o'clock time, the 6 o'clock time, and then here's the thing, if you can't make this, let us know. So if they're not able to make that certification class, we are gonna see how many we have that are not able to and do some in our office. We usually try to do them in small groups, so it's not, if we have to do a one-off, we're more than willing to do that, but we try to see how many we can coordinate to make the most of our time.
Because I know, yeah, I have public safety that night.
And then that's what I say, if you can't make the class, don't let that hold you back from being an election judge. I know some people have a vacation plan or other things already scheduled.
You can do it together.
no.
You should. We're not on the ballot.
My name's on too many other lists.
No, Adam, I think we should do it together.
Let's move on, I think. Unless there's any other questions for the. All right, we'll go ahead. 7.3 supervisor assessment.
I apologize for not giving you a synopsis of what's been going on in our office. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The only thing that has been going on in my office, and it has taken up all of my staff, completely all of my staff, is the simple fact of people not happy with their tax bills. I have been here 22 years. I will honestly say this is the most bizarrest year that I've ever. So it's taken splits, combinations, does the one, the exemptions. We haven't had too many C of E's, I will say that. I think we're the lowest C of E's, but just going forward, people, not the people, once tax bills go out, then the public knows that maybe if lawyer, the sibling, whatever, has messed up with transferring the properties. So then our mapping guy gets involved, and it hasn't been an easily question. I had the most sweetest lady that I've ever had. She was 72 years old. She didn't have her senior exemption. She didn't want her tax bill fixed. She paid her first installment. It was on her. And I started right away Monday morning with this man screaming at me and telling me that he was going to call the governor on me. So that is how my time has gone. So I'm very sorry for that. That's all I've been doing is just trying to, I feel bad. I had a beautiful lady call me today. She's been at Lake Somerset for 20 years, and she's got to pay an extra $2,000 because of the way the market's gone. We had a brief discussion, Luann, about some of the things that are still going crazy. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, it is only going to get worse. So I got my numbers for this year, and we all know that we got a state multiplier last year because I tried not to. So the county as a whole should be at 33 1/3, right? 33 1/3. I'm at 25.15. It is Freeport's free value year, but unfortunately, some of the areas of Merced and Lena are going to have to be revalued. The state is going to come in and do the county thing again, and I do not want that to happen because then that punishes. So I'm begging people, please, I know you want to try to get the most money out of your house, but just be reasonable because it affects everybody. And I mean, we did get more assessment dollars. Every single tax rate went down. It's just so, majorly different, and it's going to price people out of their houses very soon. And it's all over. I mean, the sales that Jasmine just brought us over, they're almost all of them were in Freeport, and they were on, you know, not the most desirable side of town, and they're going for $60,000 to $80,000 on that. And that's really gonna hurt people because a lot of those people have been there for a very, very long time. So,
It only hurts the people that stay.
correct. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. This wonderful lady, she, you know, she had made enough money. She doesn't have the senior freeze, and she had been in like Somerset for 20 some years. Yes, those are the people that it's going to really affect. And it's, as much as I want to tell people, it's seriously not my job to assess people out of their houses. So other than that, in a couple of weeks, I will be taking my CCAI test. And for the first time since my daughter's been born, I will actually be out of the office for 2 weeks in a row. My daughter turned 16. So we'll see how well that goes. Thank you. I'm going on vacation before my test, so I'm going to sit on the beach while they go do their thing, and I'm going to study for my test. So, but other than that, that's just my plea to everybody. So, I mean, I do really feel sorry for some of the people, and I know that it is a big hit.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
do you mind if I add, I'm sorry, Angie's statements made me think of something that,
Mhm.
and I meant to share it with you because I know some of you get calls when people leave our offices because they didn't get the answers they want. So they think we're being mean and nasty and awful and hateful to them. And I meant to actually make copies of the 2 love letters that I got.
You got
I got 2. And this was just, these were the people that haven't even dealt with us by phone or face. One of them was from an attorney in Rockford who had a great big post-it that said, "This is theft. They should go to jail. This is theft." And the second one was almost verbatim what Angie just told you, that this was a woman who lives in a condo in Lena who quoted her bill was raised $522.64, and you're trying to tax me out of my home. In person, however, I did want to share this because Angie, and a lot of times our offices deal with the same people because they don't know who to yell at. So they'll start with one of us. And I can't call this person a gentleman who was here because he absolutely was not. I just kind of think it's important to know that if you do get these phone calls, that you understand the level of disrespect that we get. Is just, I've only thrown one person out once in 10 years, but this was almost the next one. And then this is distasteful, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, just because I think you need to hear the things that are said to us.
You're gonna make me cry.
I'm going to say what was said to Angie, what I didn't know was happening at the time, or I would have probably intervened, but this man who was yelling and screaming at her, this was his 3rd visit in a week, didn't like, the answer, of course. And he said, "I guess I have to come back at a different time in the month if I want a better answer." And, this is not daily, but weekly. We get at least somebody who treats us that way. And I just think you would never have said that to a man in a leadership or managerial position, but it's okay to do that to a woman. And then so this is because I know some of you get calls, because I know some of you called and said, "Did you really say this? Because this person said you did this, this, and this." And then, of course, we're in the position of defending ourselves when we're on the receiving end of, harassment. So I'm not trying to sound like a whiner or a complainer. I really am not. I just kind of want to lay that groundwork for the calls that you will undoubtedly continue to get.
To put that in context, he actually had 2 houses on his property and had it for 10 years. And then we finally had caught it. So he's been not technically paying his fair share for the last 10 years. So yeah, he's been super pleasant. But can I add one thing? Because I really want to talk to Scott.
Sure.
Scott, I want to thank you very much. Michael came in, my disabled vet that could not understand why he did not get a tax bill. And since it did come from a man, he understood it and he actually did come in and apologize to me.
Good.
So
To hear that.
I just wanted to tell you that. So he did say that he was going to move out. It didn't work out. He thanked me for being as kind as I was. He did not understand and he didn't deserve the gratitude that he got. But thank you for being there for us and backing us up. It is a little frustrating that it has to come from a man. I'm sorry, that really bothers me. But if you guys back us up, then they know that we're not doing anything illegal and stuff like that. So I just wanted to thank you and I wanted to follow up on that.
It's just a shame that that's the situation.
Yeah, thanks,
That
Stephanie,
those
for bringing
mindsets
that up.
exist.
Yeah.
So. Thanks in advance for having our back.
Yes, thank you.
Thankfully, I haven't got any calls yet, but
I mean, it is. I mean, if you guys would come in and talk to us and stuff like that, we can, obviously, we're gonna be open and honest in what we're doing. I mean, I wish people understood that we're human too,
right,
and that's not our job.
nobody deserves that, so.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion or comments? Move on here.
Just want to say thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
You're handling all that.
7.4 county administrator.
So, our city county meeting was scheduled for Monday, but the mayor was out of town. So that did not take place on Monday, so I didn't have anything from that. Our next Greater Freeport Partnership meeting is scheduled for the 26th of June at 7:30. I finally got the fully executed document from the Regional Office of Ed. That was emailed to me on May 31st, so Jasmine now has that, finally. Still doing the weekly calls with the TCM. Those are every Monday afternoon at 1:30. Anyone wants to sit in? Next land bank meeting is scheduled for Friday. I took part on May 16th. I don't recall if I talked about this last month because it would have been after the meeting. The project that Dale has been working on, the multi-county road safety project. There's bi-monthly Zoom meetings that involve others in each county as well. So that was on the 16th. Chairman Helms brought up at the meeting last night, but I kind of wanted to remind everyone the UCCI Galena Conference is coming up July 22nd, 23rd. I believe the email said if you were interested in that, to send those registrations to me by Friday so that I can make those registrations and room reservations.
What'd you say, July 22nd?
22nd, 23rd.
And
So that's coming up quickly. I'm working on scheduling availability for rooms for meeting times for the subcommittees from the strategic planning sessions, which are on each committee's oversight, who's assigned those meetings this month. So those emails will be going out. Been involved in ongoing labor negotiations with the FOP and the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department left the PVPC and signed papers with FOP, so they are in the process of negotiating their agreement through the FOP. So FOP also represents the probation department in our county. So been working on ongoing negotiations with that, as well as Mr. Copeland as the chair of public safety and the sheriff. Attended the State of the City, County, and Township meeting that was put on by Greater Freeport Partnership on June 5th at the Farm Bureau. I have received a lot of positive feedback on that, and as mentioned in many meetings, we think Chairman Holmes did an excellent job at that presentation. I've had a couple calls of people that have called just with follow-up that they didn't know something was going on. I think so. Good turnout. It was nice to see that event be brought back. That was the first one since I've been county administrator, and I know it had happened prior to that. So that was a nice, a good turnout. I thought there was probably 75, 80 people in attendance. So Kind of continuing on that employee incentive retention conversation that we've had in department head meetings. After having Green State Credit Union come last month, in conversations with Cornerstone Credit Union as well to see if there's something that they would offer similar. Open to that. I was on a call on the 10th with Apex Wireless. They partner with US Cellular and T-Mobile and do incentives, discounted pricing, things like that. So I talked about it at the department head meeting this morning, and they will be presenting next month. I didn't want to waste department heads' time. They didn't think it was something they thought would be appropriate, but last time we told them, 10, 15 minutes at the beginning of the meeting, and we can discuss it. So the consensus this morning at the department head meeting is they would like more information on that. They had discounted cell programs and like and internet things. John Miller, who is the deputy circuit clerk, deputy circuit clerk, said that she thought it was worthwhile because she had an employee who just was a single mom, making the entry level wage there, and it took her about 4 months of working to even get a cell phone. So she said she thought that would be something useful for them. So we're going to pursue that next month as well. So there might be some agreements to send through committee next month. Also started monthly emails from Empower Health that kind of go out in tandem with the monthly Blue Cross Blue Shield wellness things. It's something that they mentioned they could start doing since we had their services through the county for the last few years. Again, it costs nothing to the county, so we just start emailing those out to the all employee emails, and hopefully something positive comes out of that. I've also been working closely with the realtor and Andrea Schultz-Winters of Greater People Partnership, moving along the contract on the sale of the Millrace lot. So Mr. Larson got the amendment to the contract to me this morning. So that was sent to the realtor to obtain signatures and agreement on that. Moving along on that.
Good job. Yes.
Is it just my memory, or has it been a while since a city county meeting has actually taken place?
Yeah, it's been the last 3 months. We haven't had one.
Okay, that's what it seemed like. I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, I literally was walking over Monday morning and I texted Chairman Helms and said, see you at City Hall. And he called me as I was getting in the elevator.
She was either on her way or was in Sacramento.
Yeah. What can we do to make sure, it just seems like, so then you just don't meet for the whole month and then wait till the next month?
Mayor Miller and I talk frequently throughout.
I was going to say,
And honestly, there's not been very much to discuss. The last thing I really like to turn over a little triangle piece of property.
Yeah, that's why we're all laughing.
Wait a minute, what triangle? Why don't we want this?
Because we have a mowing bill for it.
It's over by.
Prime real estate, we want to get rid of.
Where it says Notting Hill.
Oh, off of like Adams or?
Yeah, it's a
We
little
could make a
triangle.
garden.
No.
I'd sell it to you.
I was gonna say for $1.
Quick claim deeding, here we go.
Pay somebody to take it.
You know,
That was
we ended up taking that in a package deal for with Block Road, the landing from the Park District. Back in 2017 or 2018, some people thought that was a really good idea. I was not one of them. So I suppose the city, the county should own property in the city of Freeport, and all we do is mow it.
We tried to give it back to the park district when we had that going on with.
If I'd really been on the ball, which I wasn't, I would have made it a package deal with the $500,000 contribution. But we've talked about it, the mayor, and the city manager, to take it back. And
It
then
really served.
potentially develop it, do maybe a community garden, something like that, something. Or should it? But beyond that, usually they tell us that we owe the water bill for the nursing home. They haven't been paid yet. That's pretty typical.
I would say that's one of the regular updates.
Yeah, we talk about the city roads and how poor they are. Of course, it's just been tough. We're open to meeting.
Yeah.
It's not on our end. It's always the second Monday of the month.
Okay,
But like I said, I do talk to Mayor Miller frequently about different things. Mostly it's her complaining to me about things that she's going through. I'm a good listener, huh?
oh,
And I was gonna say, Mr. Boyer, so a couple of things together too, so we interact at least probably once or twice a month. But
oh my God. Someone has to validate this. Jasmine, don't fall for it.
Bring it in here. Let's go to 7. IT manager.
Closed out a lot of the AYC projects. We finished up probation and a few other offices. Of course, another project presented itself. The sheriff was ready to move forward with the media room, which is the old treasurer's office on the first floor. So I've got some equipment ordered that they purchased switches and stuff to run a bunch of lines and really wire that office up to have multiple connections and stuff of that nature. So that'll be on the forefront here in the next couple of weeks. The ticketing system, this is cool to me. I don't know if it's cool to any of you. We have hit like 1,300 tickets that have registered through the ticketing system. And what's even more amazing to me is that's probably 60% of what we've done, because we still have people that have trouble following the rules. So I thought that was a pretty good milestone as far as what we've done, and it tracks a lot of what we've done in the county and where we're trying to go and create reports and things of that nature. So I thought you were gonna say something. You look like you're
No,
gonna say
I'm
something.
smiling. I'm happy for you.
You haven't heard on the installation date?
I have not. I knew that was gonna come up because the board meeting's next week. We have not heard from CTI yet as far as the camera work and the new technology in the county boardroom. They do have a lot of contracts across the state to get those done in a lot of courthouses. So sometimes their timeline gets moved back, especially with equipment. We did place a feeler out there to see if they can give us like a new ETA of sorts, and we just haven't heard back yet. So once we have that, I should have something by the board meeting next week that I can possibly share. But they're one of like 2 companies in the state that do this. So they're kind of backed up, and sometimes back order is the issue where they can't get everything that they've ordered. So once I have some resolution or a date for that, I will let you know. So I will share that next week as well at the board meeting once I have it. Other than that, it's just been business as usual. You guys probably will see 3 Rock, the bill for them go up a little bit here these last few months. I mean, we've been all over the place. We've been super busy with a lot going on at just about every location. So a lot of office moves, a lot of new employees, a lot of stuff going on. So well, the good news is I don't think we have too much backlog. I know we're doing a server for Jasmine next week on Juneteenth because the offices are closed. So we'll get that squared away. And then the other thing I want the board to think about, that's kind of, I don't want to say it's not a sore subject, but it's taking a lot of time, is when we get FOIA requests, we need to figure out what's a voluminous request that is just way bigger than the normal scope of a FOIA that takes staff time away. Like I literally got a FOIA for emails out at the nursing center. It's 1,085 emails, which pulling that information is not hard, but now with it being a nursing center, you have to make sure there's nothing HIPAA related or anything else in there that we're giving someone. And to go through 1,085 emails, I mean, is going to sidetrack me for who knows how long. There's no quick way to do it because it could be anything in the body of an email. It could be a social security number. It could be any kind of information. So, I mean, do we get to the point where we charge for these and there's actually some skin involved on the other end? I get it's a freedom of information, but I mean, that takes away staff time. It takes away resources we don't really have on the daily to sit here and just, and they're starting to come in more frequent. So, I mean, it's just constantly, there's always something. So I want us to maybe come up with some parameter of what voluminous looks like or over a certain hour marker, something. I don't want to just make that call on my own. I'd like it to be countywide, but I also feel like, and I thought about this today, we usually have them bring in flash drives. I don't even want to do that anymore. I think we should supply the flash drive and they should pay for it because I don't want to take someone else's flash drive and plug it into something else that's our network. So there are different parameters I'd like to put in place, but I want county collaboration on this so it doesn't look like the IT guys just throwing a stink. But I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, I could be sidelined for a week going through these emails and trying to find out what they can have and what they can't. There's just no easy way to do that. And technically, if you do that, you really have to print out the emails and scan them to even redact what would be in the email. So, I mean, you're talking a huge process.
And I should have probably mentioned that in my report is the office has gotten a influx of FOIA requests, and thanks to Nate, who has, this is, I mean, you know, when they relate to electronic data, it's Nate is the go-to. And
I'm able to pull a query and I'm able to pull the information, but I don't have the time to go through every email and figure out what they can and cannot have, nor do I really know, you know, from a health perspective. I mean, I have an idea of what looks like stuff they shouldn't have, but I mean, who does that? And
Can we set parameters? Like they're looking for emails from this person between this date and this date.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
It's
This is
in
only from January 1st to like current, but it was 1,085 emails. And I mean,
Can we limit it to like 100 for each request?
well, they
can't
could, I
really
mean,
do that.
then we would just get 10 requests.
Yeah,
instead of-
but they can't expect them all. But I mean,
if they get sent on the
I
same day,
don't-
we receive them. on the
I
same
mean,
day.
we're almost getting to the precedent if these keep coming in, but you almost need a full-time FOIA person that's just sitting here going through the request to make sure that I don't want to give something out that eventually is going to get us in trouble. You know what I mean? I mean, it has to be filtered.
I have two thoughts on this. So one is maybe we ought to talk to the state's attorney's office and see what.
He's pulling the statute for what's voluminous, but again, I would prefer that, like, I would like it to be his opinion or the county board's. I don't want it to be, hey, I feel like this is too much for me. I'm not gonna do it.
We're gonna need his opinion.
Exactly.
The other
So-
thing, maybe there's that might do this type of FOIA service, go through email. I don't know if there's an outside service we can have. I don't know.
I don't want to be that.
I know, I'm right.
I agree with Steve.
This particular. It's a,
No.
I don't know what to do my own.
I get that.
This specific request, you can't just let anybody filter.
Filter
through
right.
it.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was
I'm not even sure you can look through those.
I
You know,
don't
that's the
disagree.
problem.
I didn't know if there was like a service that does legal type work that can go in there
I
that's
think it's
that's
all.
qualified to do that type
Problem
of
is
thing.
It's the same 2 or 3 people that are doing it all the time. And they're doing it for political purposes, which is right. But just saying, I want every single email that's sent by this person for the last 5 months is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I know, if I can say
Okay.
this too, and with the requests that I get, I deny them. I deny some like that, and then I force them to give me a level of specificity because FOIA allows me some of those parameters. And then they'll argue and they'll come back and say, well, cite me the part of FOIA that says that you can ask for this, and I'm citing you the part that says I can deny it, or ask for you to
Mhm.
be more specific.
Right.
I will always do that. And that's even when I have people who are doing it for valid reasons, you know, and just to do these umbrella you have the right to deny in whole or in part and ask for clarification or specificity and then go from there. And you have time to do it. You don't have to respond immediately. And they can appeal, you can respond. It's a process. It does not have to be acted on immediately because someone is demanding a ridiculous amount of paper.
Yeah, I mean, it's our second one probably in a week, right? Little over a week.
I always will. I go through, and if there's a category that I can deny, I will. And I know that might be a little bit more work, but I mean, if you don't requests like that are voluminous, obviously on their face voluminous, they don't know what they're looking for either.
Right.
So force them to define it.
Do you want
We can talk.
Well,
Well,
yeah, we
it's
can
the
talk
same
about
thing.
it.
I really I live in that statute if I have to.
Okay.
You can get the state's attorney to make a call on this. This
Yeah,
isn't- This is
he
a
is.
county board
He is. He's been
department,
involved.
state's attorney.
Okay, yeah, he's involved and I'm supposed to hear something back tomorrow. He's of the mindset that he feels like we can charge an hourly rate for whatever employees involved in a request of this nature, plus whatever we have to do. So, I'll wait for the final word tomorrow and then I'll probably just reach out and let you guys know where it's at.
Okay.
But I mean, I've pulled it, I've got the emails, but now they need to be filtered.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, as it relates to your specific time, would it be, and knowledge set, would it be out of line to ask the nursing center because it's their emails and they have the knowledge to guide you? I mean,
That's what I don't know. That's probably a Carl question as well.
thinking about instead of hiring someone new,
Well,
use the people we already that know that.
but if you contact the person who they're, say someone's asking for all your emails, they could easily just delete a few that they don't want to send out. I mean,
Yeah, they
how
can always do
accurate-
something illegal. You're right.
right. I mean, they could be like, oh, I'm not good at that one. I mean, not that they would, but I'm just saying that, there's that chance of we may not get the whole picture because he asked the person who they're searching on to do it.
Right, and then if they delete something that someone or knows is there, I mean, it's a slippery slope. So it's I don't know what to do, but I feel like especially with the nursing center and the health department, I mean, you run into some extra liabilities there that we have to make sure that we're covered. Okay. That's really all I have.
Further questions?
Oh, so you said ticketing still isn't what you want it to be. Is it at least going up or slightly more people using the ticketing system or? Is it kind of plateaued?
It is, but unfortunately, my problem children stay my problem children. And, there's a way to solve it, but, I literally would need to ignore people, and just let things fall apart. And maybe that's what I should do. I just don't, if I have a downtime and I have time to take care of something, I'm just kicking the can down the road. I'll be like, I'm not doing this to you, submit a ticket. And then eventually they will, and I'll have to go do it anyway. So if I have the time, I'll end up usually showing up and then I chastise them and I'm like, it's not that difficult. I don't understand why this is so hard to get. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm chippy with them because I'm like, it's not hard at all. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to go back and put in a ticket for you after I'm doing all this work. So they've gotten a little better, but they're not consistent. And then when we have department head meetings and stuff, they don't show up. So it is what it is. But the answer is just ignoring them. Maybe I'll get to that point at some point, but they also then will call and complain that somebody's hasn't come right out and said that, but they were kind of insinuating that. So
I gotta go, sorry.
Okay. Thanks, Luann.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on to new business and 9.1 discussion on strategic planning focus areas. This particular one is effective government. You want to talk on this one a little bit,
I
or
can, sure.
you kind of give an overview of it?
So basically, all I'm looking for is for this committee, since you are the oversight and this subcommittee will report back to you, is to review the key strategies and progress measures to make sure they're sufficient for what you would like to approve out of the subcommittee and put forth to the full board. So if you're satisfied with the key strategies, which hopefully you are, because they were developed by the group that went through the strategic planning process. All we need is the okay, and Georgia will put dates, times out for the committee members to try to get together and discuss.
You guys had a chance to look at this again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good place to start. And you want to talk about who's on this particular?
So, county board members on effective government are Jim Hart, Adam Modero, Tim Whalen, Casey Anthony. For department heads, it was Chanel Bardell and Jasmine Wingert. I also kind of thought about getting on this committee as well when as time permits, just because some of the key strategies would relate to things in my office, so.
Trying to think of two already.
You are on reliable communication and
Safety.
community safety.
Community safety.
I just have a couple comments.
Sure.
I really wish I would have been able to be here, to be on this when we had the process done. But I have a big concern. If I asked any of you in this room to give me the first three words of Stephenson County's mission statement, could you do that? That's the answer I expected. Because the mission statement is horrible. The mission statement, it says a lot, but just to give an example, one of the churches here in our community had 6 campuses. Their mission statement is helping everybody we can find their place in God's plan. And that's their filter. Farm Bureau, for our 4,000 members, our mission statement is to educate and advocate for agriculture. And so in anything we do, when we have asks or when we're doing something, that becomes our filter. Does it educate and advocate? If it doesn't, then we don't need to do it. And I know that we have some things in the county that we have. But I think that if we want to make our job as board members easier and be more effective, we need, I always remember Ron Kane used to tell me when it came to looking up parcels on the internet for taxes, less is more. And I think we need a little bit of less is more here. I think the committee structure and effective government and the two that we have at P&D, I think the strategies and the progress measures are great. I just think our mission statement needs to be told.
Well, this is a process. It's nothing that we're completely married.
And I'm not trying to poke in anybody, but
I was thrilled at the people that didn't show up. I was really disappointed at the ones that didn't or couldn't, but it's fine. I mean, it was just part of the time of the year. We went through it 3 or 4 different times to get it done. But, you know, this is just the kicking off point, the starting point. So eventually what I'd like to do, and I think I said this at your meeting, was this is a tool to use to craft future budgets, just to get the priorities and the goals out there. So by all means, if you've got ideas to narrow it down and improve the focus, that's what we're hoping for. Absolutely.
and I think, that's the way I understand this whole process. And I want to make sure you know that I'm on board with the process. So, like I said, I wish I could have been able to been there. 1,400
Are we in
miles.
Costa Rica?
No, I was in Florida.
Somewhere.
Anyway,
Those are good comments. I think probably once we get into here and we start working through this, we're gonna have to prioritize what the 2 or 3 things that we can work on, because we're not gonna be able to work on everything at once.
Right.
So that's just how life works.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a good process. I think we'll figure out when we have these meetings and go from there. So Any other comments or questions on this one? We're gonna get together and when these are gonna happen, find dates. all
Yeah,
that Fun stuff.
trying to figure out dates of availability of like this room. Meetings here, if people are, I'm doing preliminary emails, to find out
Okay.
when people are available.
That's always tough. Get everybody. Alrighty, so we move on.
Please.
Okay, 9.2, approval of renewal of Microsoft licensing agreement.
This is our annual renewal for our Office 365 through Microsoft, our email, Teams, OneDrive, all of that. It is a budgeted item, so I'm just looking for approval to sign the contract and renew us for another year.
Was there any increase on this, or is it basically the same amount?
It's less than my budgeted amount, so
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, got a second? Any other
Aye.
conversation? No. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. 10.0, comments from committee members.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, I don't have anything either. So 11.0, see anybody here? 12.0 adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Second.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Also,